Hi, everybody. Adrenna Anzaldua again, here to work through the differences between somatic experiencing and somatic spiritual healing. And the reason why I wanted to take some time to offer some information is because I do have a lot of clients that reach out to me after experiencing somatic experiencing that particular modality for a while. And oftentimes they are coming to me, and really by the time someone's coming for spiritual healing, most of the time they've tried a lot of different things, whether it's hypnosis, it's therapy, saltwater tanks or something like that. But pretty much they're just like, nothing else is working. And so I wanted to kind of explain why that might be happening. And this is not to disrespect somatic experiencing at all. I very, very much highly respect somatic experiencing, Peter Levine and Bessel van der Kolk, who really founded and really, I would believe, were trailblazers in the new wave of understanding of how trauma impacts the body and how it is stored. If you have not watched The Body Keeps the Score, I would highly, highly recommend that you take some time to either look into it or even just the idea behind it. Okay, so somatic experiencing. I'm not going to go into depth about somatic experiencing just because there are plenty of other people out there who are somatic experiencers who can tell you a little bit more about specifically that modality. What I want to offer is, once again, in that last video, I mentioned that Venn diagram. So obviously the place in the middle here is going to be that it is body-centered. So both somatic experiencing and somatic spiritual healing are working through the body, which is fantastic. But let's say that you've been doing somatic experiencing for a while. Okay, so I've actually had a client who worked with a somatic experiencer for, I would say, about a year and a half, had some really great insights and great healing, but then eventually got to a plateau. And this plateau lasted for quite some time. And any time in, any field, whenever I think about a plateau, to me, that kind of just says like, hey, there's something that's not working anymore. And so after working with this client, understanding that one of the reasons why that somatic experiencing stopped working was because my client needed someone to come in from that spiritual perspective. And so somatic experiencers are great. Oh my goodness. Thank you all, if you are a somatic experiencer, for the work that you do. Seriously. It really allows us to pull into the body, but unless they are trained in spiritual healing, right, then that's not going to be their specialty. So what I'm trying to say, and what I'm really trying to get down to the point, is that both are absolutely fantastic modalities. But what somatic spiritual healing is basically maybe the bridge between somatic experiencing and where you want to be. Because maybe you've been working on healing through body-centered approaches for quite some time, and you've found that you're continuing to just find yourself in the same patterns, whether that's relationships, whether that is just you. And oftentimes, just like I mentioned earlier with that plateau, that spiritually we can have a plateau. And it's important that if we are at a plateau, that place where things are no longer working, it doesn't mean that we are necessarily stuck or that everything that we've done doesn't matter. It just means that we need to take a different approach. If you've ever watched Friends, this, oh my goodness, this episode of Ross, pivot, he's taking this couch upstairs, and it's just this whole mess. And so kind of pulling in Ross here, Ross Geller, the pivoting, the ability to pivot and to take a look at something and say, at one point this really worked for me and now it's not. And we can offer compassion, we can offer our gratitude for those modalities that perhaps really did help us at one time, but now we need a different approach. And so I think it's really important to understand that we have so many different modalities to choose from when it comes to healing. We have this choice, we have our agency, but you need to determine what is working for you and what is not. And discovering that is going to be you really diving into that awareness and you understanding your own energetic baseline, understanding perhaps where your life has not been fully in balance. And sometimes we might need a guide to kind of tell us, like, hey, I don't know if you realize this, but something's not working. And that guide could be a therapist, it could be a friend, it could be a family member, but maybe it is a spiritual healer because you kind of just have this sense or this knowing that there's something spiritual deeper or something deeper going on. If that is you, if this resonates with you, if that third eye is kind of twitching in resonance, please know that I'm here. I love to hear from you, whether it is suggestions for future videos, things that you guys want to see more of, or questions about your spiritual healing journey. Again, my name is Adrenna Nicole, spiritual healer from the Somatic Spiritual Healer. Until next time, thanks, guys.